Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you're like most of us using AI right now, your typical workflow probably looks, well, a bit like the Wild West. You open a chat window, throw a few messy prompts at it, maybe get distracted, and then you just sort of abandon the thread when the AI gets confused. That's the ordinary world of AI use, right? It's passive and it's chaotic. But today, we are stepping right into the pilot seat. We're looking at a system called the Agent Cockpit. Think of this as your absolute special weapon to command your workflow. It's specifically tailored for Claude using a customized Stream Deck profile, and it is going to completely transform how you interact with AI. We are moving from simply typing in a chat box to actively directing a seriously powerful assistant.
All right, quick flight instructor briefing before we take off. We've got 4 core modules to hit today. Number 1, the 5-step session lifecycle. Number 2, the daily driver's toolkit. Number 3, drill the bookend habit. And number 4, combos for heavy days.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the 5-step session lifecycle.
Here is the big idea of this entire playbook, the mindset shift you need to make. You are no longer passively having a chat. You are actively managing an agent. Every successful session follows this exact macro-level path. First up, you open the session, really orienting the AI to what's happening. Then, you aim it. You give it a singular focus, or you have it triage a mess for you. Next, you guard it with strict boundaries. Then comes verify, where you actually demand proof of the work it did. And finally, you end the session properly. The golden rule of this entire system: absolutely nothing dies with the chat window.
And to actually execute this, we use the Daily Driver's Stream Deck profile. This grounds all those high-level abstract concepts into tangible, physical buttons that you press every single day to control the session. You've got your Orient button, your One Thing target, your Prove It beaker. These 11 keys, they're literally your steering wheel, your brakes, and your accelerator.
Moving right along to Section 2, the daily driver's toolkit.
Now that we know the hardware, let's break down the core arsenal. First up are our aim and execute commands. Button number 2 is One Thing. This is your anti-paralysis key. You know when you're overwhelmed or just drowning in options? This demands exactly one highest value next action, not a massive laundry list. Then, button 5 is Plan First. You use this before Claude touches any files or does anything that's hard to undo. It forces a maximum 8-bullet plan that explicitly highlights risks. And button 6 is Decide. We all know AI loves to hedge, right? It gives you 5 different perfectly fine options. Well, this prompt forces it to stop dodging. It evaluates, picks the strongest option, states the trade-offs, and just executes.
Next, we absolutely have to guard the session. Because, let's be real, left to its own devices, AI loves to confidently make things up and go chase squirrels. Button 3 is Evidence. It sets a super strict standing rule: never answer from memory when a tool can verify the actual data. If it can't be verified, Claude has to mark it unverified. Button 4 is Scope. AI is notorious for drifting into these random, elaborate side quests. This prompt forces Claude to stay strictly inside the agreed boundaries and push any of those shiny distractions to a later list. It only gets to surface them when the main task is actually done.
Okay, so the work is allegedly done. Now we have to verify it. Button 7 is Prove It. When Claude says done, you use this to demand hard evidence, not just claims. You literally force it to run the code, test it, screenshot it, or show you the difference. Button 8 is Diff. After any big edit session, this prompt forces Claude to show you exactly what changed, item by item. It specifically flags anything it tweaked that you didn't actually ask for. And look, sometimes things just go wrong, which is why button 9 is Unstick. If you're hitting 3 or more failed attempts, do not let the AI try the exact same thing again. That's a trap. This prompt demands 3 genuinely different approaches, not just slight variations, totally forcing the AI out of its failure loop.
Which brings us to Section 3, drill the bookend habit.
Listen, if you remember absolutely nothing else from this training, let it be this. It is a strict standard operating procedure. Button 1, Orient, and button 11, Handoff, are your bookends. Orient is how you ground a returning session. It's the big red "You Are Here" marker on a map. And Handoff? That's your crucial bridge to the future, making sure that today's work doesn't just vanish into the ether the second you close the tab.
Let's look at the actual mechanics of the Orient prompt. It reads, orient me in under 10 lines. What is the session about so far? What's done? What's still open? And the single most valuable next action. No preamble. This has to be the very first button you press on any returning session mid-project, or even just after you come back from a quick coffee break. It instantly snaps the AI, and honestly you, right back into context without having to read through miles and miles of chat history. And then, when it's time to log off, you execute the end-of-day routine.
First, you press button 10, Close. This prompts the AI to document the day's accomplishments, the decisions that were made, and why, and any crucial open loops. And it explicitly assigns those loops to an owner, whether that's you or the AI. Then, right after that, you hit button 11, Handoff. This commands Claude to write a handoff.md document. And here's the trick. It has to write it assuming absolutely zero memory of the current chat. It captures the goal, the current state, and the next steps. You save this straight to your project folder. Why? So that a completely fresh, blank slate Claude session could read that file tomorrow morning and pick up exactly where you left off without missing a single beat.
Finally, let's dive into Section 4, Combos for Heavy Days. So once you've mastered these individual buttons, you can start chaining them together into these incredible emergency maneuvers. This is the Heavy Day Combo. We use this for those mornings where your start-of-day tasks feel completely overwhelming and literally everything is screaming urgent. First, hit Triage. This buckets your plate and delegates tasks to Claude, having it immediately start grinding on its own bucket. Next, hit One Thing to force the selection of your single highest value move right now. Finally, lock it in with a time box to strictly focus your execution. Boom! You've just turned pure chaos into a highly structured flight plan.
But you know, what if your head is just too full to even triage? We've all been there. This is a vital alternative, especially for those highly scattered ADHD kind of days. You use Claude as your momentum partner. First, you press Brain Dump. You literally just word vomit everything in your messy head right into the chat. And Claude sorts it out into projects, worries, and trash, assigning a next action to every item. Then you press Eat Frog. Claude names the one task you are very clearly avoiding that matters the most, and then, and this is the absolute magic part, it prepares the first step for you. It drafts the file or the first email, making starting absolutely trivial, so you can break through that paralysis.
And lastly, we have the Decision Combo. This one is for deep work. When you're making decisions that could cost real money or reputation, you need a quality machine. First, you run a compare or a steelman prompt to honestly and brutally evaluate your options. Once a winner emerges, you immediately hit Red Team. This forces Claude to attack that winning plan like a smart, motivated rival who really wants it to fail. Then, right before you pull the trigger, you hit 2ND Opinion to spawn a totally fresh, independent check to verify all the claims from scratch. It is a completely bulletproof workflow.
So I'm leaving you with this thought today. When you sit down to work next, will your chat just die the second you close the window, or are you going to take the pilot seat? Are you going to orient your goals, guard your scope, actually verify your results, and truly command the session? The cockpit is all yours. Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer, and we will definitely see you in the next one.